Okay.
Anyway. Okay, 3, 2...
Me. Trying to figure out how to put my face to my bangs. Look, okay.
Yeah, they're so cute.
Thank you.
You're so cute. Aww. Does it tickle?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
If you don't already know, Addison and I are two corporate workplace girlies.
Yeah, the grind never stops.
Full-time jobs, full-time podcast. But I feel like we do juggle the stress very well.
Yeah, we're totally professionals.
I like that. Young professionals, like my dad would say. But what happens when you trust the wrong professionals?
I don't know. Let's ask the listeners of our podcast.
Or we could read the stories. Story 1. A job interview I still think about. Hey everyone, first time poster. It's not the scariest, but one of the weirdest that left me with a strange feeling. So this is about the weirdest job interview I ever had. This happened sometime after February 2018. My brother's community college was having a job fair. I went in thinking, hey, this is legit. I'm going to go take some resumes, see what happens. So we're at the fair, a couple of cool booths, people looking for photographers, etc. And we come across this table. I asked what they do. We work in contracts with entertainment or something like that. I hand the guy my resume, and he looks at me, puts it down, doesn't even look at my resume, and wants to schedule an interview with me. So I agree. I have to add, at this time I wasn't doing well mentally. I was in the middle of what I now know was an emotional breakdown, and I wasn't eating, etc. So y'all can imagine what I looked like, but nonetheless, I secure the interview, do my internet research, and find this company doesn't really have a digital footprint besides their super bare bones website. Nothing on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, Indeed, nothing nowhere. The job interview was in a random building right off the freeway. So I show up, and there's no parking near the building, so I park in a neighborhood and go to the building, and there's this guy, I would say mid-40s, who's friendly and helps me figure out how to get on the floor I'm supposed to be on. He says he's on his way out, and I thanked him and went up. When I get to the floor, I realize I forgot my resume, so I leave the building, walk back to my car. When I make my way back to the building, I see the same guy, just standing by a window of the building, standing there staring into nothing, and seemed surprised that I was behind him and not upstairs. Then I got to the job interview, and the front desk lady is a blonde girl in basically a spaghetti strap shirt and black pants, and she interviews me. And the strangest thing is this woman was like tweaker skinny, okay, not to body shame or anything, but like, not to body shame, but to like, but she's so thin, it didn't seem normal. Now, when I first met the guys at the job fair, they were in suits, dressed sharply, and they worked with DirecTV. And during the interview, they basically say they're just handing out Obama phones on the streets. What?
Now, let me be clear.
The whole office was decorated in basic Target decorations. Then the next week, they scheduled me for an interview, and there's the same old dude, but this time he was interviewing, and he had the same weird panicked look as last time. At the front desk this day was another young woman, better dressed, but just as tweaker skinny. And my interviewer this time was some guy in his early 20s wearing a suit 2 sizes too big, comically so. The guy gave me an interview, and it was basically the same interview, and they were going to start my onboarding. Something felt weird, and something told me just to say no, so I ended up bailing, but damn does this interview stand out in my head. I emailed the community college about it later, but basically was told, hello, we can't fix it if the people at our job fairs lie about their jobs. Which, having worked at a college department that did job fairs, really concerned me. How could they not verify people who showed up? I know at my old department, they would painstakingly verify the people there. To this day, I'm still worried about this. How many other college students have these people met? What is their exact goal? Why were all the female staff so thin? And why did they have no real social media footprint for an entertainment-centered company? How many people fell for this? And what exactly did I almost get myself into? I would say probably a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, as someone who's almost been hired by a few pyramid schemes, I get in there like, This doesn't seem like a real job. This seems like definitely a multi-level marketing.
MLM. It is
MLM, baby.
MLM. There was a story. Oh, sorry. What were we going to say?
No, go for it.
There was a story that I can't remember like where I heard it on or anything, but it basically was this woman who was really desperate for a job, and she showed up at this like run-down building that looked like a dentist's office or something, and the guy wore just like a plain lab coat and took her to the back. It was a weird story, but basically the same energy. But that one may be a little bit scarier. But
yeah. Some people are saying this sounds like badly disguised human traffickers, which I could also see that happening. But yeah, I've gone to like different job interviews, and they're like, yeah, it's like some like random building that I've never been into, never even noticed.
Yeah.
And you like, oh yeah, go to the 3rd floor and talk to this receptionist, and it looks like a set for an office and not an actual office.
Yeah.
Like if I like flicked one of the walls, it would fall over. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you talk to the really young receptionist who, it's like, oh yeah, Mr. Johnson, we'll see you now. And it's like a guy who's maybe 22.
Yeah.
In a fucking zoot suit, it looks like.
Yeah,
and
a super ill-fitting suit. It's hanging over his arms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, I never took any of those jobs. So.
Yeah. I've gone to interviews at, like, Starbucks and Panera and stuff for really vague companies that I didn't follow up with because the interview always felt, like, odd. Like, it wasn't anything super weird, but it was always like, oh, like, we offer this pay, but you only start off at this pay for this amount of time, and we can only guarantee this many months of work kind of thing. Yeah. Or they'll like blow it up and be like, we have full-time dental or all dental and health insurance and all of these cool things. And you're like, well, if you're such a big company, why are you meeting me at a Panera?
Why are we not meeting at
an office building?
Yeah. There's this one job that I got in Atlanta, and they're like, yeah, you'll be training for a management role. And I was like, okay, cool, great that you provide the training. That's a normal thing. But then I get to it, and everyone's supposed to be in the management track. I was like, who are we managing if we're all managers?
Yeah.
And
everybody's managing each other.
Yeah, it's like all it really was setting up a product at like Costco and being like, do you like this hair straightener? I'm like, don't call that a management. That's not this is a sales job.
It's like a cell phone business.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to run your own business. It's Mabel, or what was it? Mary Kay.
Mary Kay, yeah. My mom still has Mary Kay.
That's so funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mary Kay got everyone at some, not me, but
they wanted the cars. Yeah, me, 8 years old.
Did
the softest hands ever.
Did you ever use Avon too? Did you get those?
My Nana did get Avon because there was something that they had that worked to repel mosquitoes. I don't know if it was a face cream or what it was. But.
Yeah. No, there were a lot of people in my neighborhood growing up that sold Avon.
Yeah.
There was this super... And it's probably really niche. It starts with a K. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. It doesn't matter. It was this like super fruit berry juice thing that heals you. And it was a really big MLM in the area that I was living in. And so many of my friends fell for it. And one of the people that we would hang out with got an Audi. Yeah, from it with the big logo on the
Whoa.
side.
All right.
And then the company went bankrupt and you have to get it back.
Lame.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So,
yeah. My neighbor growing up had the Mary Kay car that she got. I wonder. Obviously, she doesn't still have it. That was like 20 years ago at least.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. He either had to give it back or he had to like take over payments on it. I can't remember now.
Sucks.
Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the Kalani. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
yeah, probably an MLM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably an M&M. No, yeah, I agree. It was probably an MLM or some sort of weird sales job that they do everything
So when they said Obama phones, I thought it was like, you know how, like a novelty phone, like how they have a hamburger phone, but it was like Obama.
Obama? Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
What would be the handset?
It would be his hand, and he would be holding a phone. It'd be like a bust of Obama with a hand, and he'd be holding a little phone for you.
I'd buy it.
I would buy that too.
I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
1,000% would have a novelty Obama phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want a novelty phone in general. I think it'd be really fun to go back to a landline.
I have been thinking about that.
Yeah. I think it'd be really fun to go. I know it's not economically feasible because why would we if we have cell phones? But
too many people are calling me on my cell phone. I want to go back to the landline.
I know. I'm like, I think it'd be fun to be at home and have your friend call you instead of sitting and texting. You're like, oh, let me call and talk. And you just sit on your little lipstick phone.
Yeah.
That's all I want in the world.
Yeah.
Simple
I love
times.
A phone call, yeah.
Yeah. I do sometimes, but it's all honestly like really sparse. And I think having a cell, like the ability to text changed that, because when I was a kid, I talked on the phone. I would sit on our landline for hours, hours with my friends, not even talking, just sitting in silence sometimes,
existing,
but just talking. And like relationships I had when I was younger, especially I was in a long distance one for a long time. We would just sit on the phone all night.
Yep.
All night. Literally we would fall asleep, wake up, and it'd be like, you still there? Hey.
Yeah. Such is life of the landlines, yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah. Story 2. I think I'm being watched at my job. Let's start with the basics. I'm a 26 male, and I work at a blind store where I'm alone during all my shift. What's a blind store?
A store that has blinds.
Okay.
For your window.
Oh! Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
I was thinking blind.
No.
I was like, do they just sell canes?
Blind.
Service dogs? I don't know.
Watch it be all of the above, actually.
Yeah. I work from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. from Monday to Friday. It's a very simple job, and most of the time I look at my computer, do some customer service, offer quotation to the very few people that enter the store, and so on. So, like I said, it's very boring and not much happens. But lately, something started to catch my attention. I've noticed that across the street, someone is looking directly at the store. More precisely, looking at me. I don't handle cash at the store. We mostly work with credit or debit card. So I don't think that they're planning on robbing the store or anything like that. I've noticed that there is a telescope on the window and it's pointed directly at my desk. So I think it's very obvious that the person is looking at me. I've left my phone recording at me while I do some work for like an hour, hour and a half, and I can see in the recording that this person moves the telescope once in a while, and that when I go to the restroom, the telescope moves while trying to find me. So yeah, I have not seen the face of the person or anything, but surely enough, this is creepy. Update 1. This person is looking at my desk through a door, so my blinds can't protect me here. In addition to this, I moved the desk closer to the wall, so this person can't see me anymore. I just did this because I was getting video proof of the person's behavior. I just found out about the stalker this Tuesday. I don't know if he or she has been doing this for weeks. I just noticed now, so I'm already being really careful when I get off work. After reading all your suggestions, I have decided to go and have a little chat with the building administrator and show her all the evidence that I collected. I will do this today, and I may update this weekend if something worth mentioning happens. So we do have another update, if you want me to read that or if you want me to talk.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I need more information on this.
Okay, update 2. So I already showed all the evidence to the building administrator. Let's call her Anna, and she was shocked. More so when she actually saw the telescope showing through the window of the apartment. She told me that the apartment that has the telescope is being used by 2 girls, maybe in their early 20s, and these 2 girls are weird. The apartments are small, but they are not cheap, and these 2 girls started living in them almost 2 months ago. Two. She told me that she doesn't see these girls leave the apartment very often, and most of the food and groceries are delivered via delivery guys. But something that does occur is that a man comes to the apartment every 2 or 3 days and leaves early in the morning. This man is the one who actually made the rental agreement and pays for the apartment, so he's probably paying the food and rent of these 2 girls. Now, Anna says that when the rental agreement took place, the man said that these 2 girls would be living there because of college, but she hasn't seen the 2 girls go to college or anything like that. So yeah, this is weird. Apparently, Anna is going to speak about the issue with the owner of the building and the man who signed the rental agreement, so the activity, the stalking, stops. I will update if I learn something else. And there's another update.
Okay.
Do you want to say something first?
I think that this could be 2 college-age girls who aren't going to class, and they saw a cute guy who works at a thing, and they're using their telescope to look at him. That's my theory.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's playing off to me right now, too.
Just girly things, but it is actually, I see how that is creepy to do.
Yeah, you're just like, you look up and there's somebody just...
Yeah. Like, one of them's yelling at the other as she's eating her, like, DoorDash ice cream. She's like, hot blind guy is there.
He's moving. Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe we can catch him going to the bathroom this time.
Yeah. That is what I imagine. It was not, that is weird to do.
It's weird, but it's not like... Okay. Oh.
And this is where, like, the double standard comes in. Because if it was a man, we'd be like, ew, disgusting. Jump off a cliff, you freak. But we're not, it's just, like, 2 girlies being silly.
Okay, listeners, you tell me what you think. Because for me, I'm like, this is just 2 girls being excited about a cute boy. They're in college. Maybe they do college online.
They could do college online.
That's also a thing.
Yeah.
And it could just be like one of their dads that come and pay for their apartment. Yeah. And he comes over and stays the night, make sure that they're doing okay.
Yeah, and to be fair, just because you don't see them leaving doesn't mean that they don't
That they're not leaving. You know, there's a theory, a neighbor grocery theory or something, that you don't see your neighbors bringing your groceries. And like... because everything's a simulation.
I've never seen a neighbor bring in groceries, and I have so many neighbors.
Yeah, I have a lot of neighbors, too. I have seen, like, once or twice. Not often, but I have seen it once or twice. And I know my neighbors have seen me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
You're the grocery neighbor. Okay.
Last update. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So this weekend, I didn't think too much about the situation anymore. I try to enjoy my days off without worrying about my job. So today I came into work, opened the store, and began to work. Then I noticed that the window on the apartment was closed. This window is always open, and I noticed that the telescope was no longer there. I sent a message to Anna asking if she could tell me anything about the girls and if something was done about the stalking. Apparently, Anna, the building owner, and this mysterious man had a short conversation this Saturday. They called the man on his phone and asked him if they could talk about some of the complaints about the apartment. Then told the man that the girls were harassing the stores in front of the building. Lucky me, they didn't say I was the one who complained. They told the man that this behavior should stop because that's not something the tenants should do. So far, the man has been listening and paying attention to the request. Everything was normal to a point, but then the building owner made a question. It was a quick question. What career are they studying? Anna says that the man changed his attitude completely, said that he should mind his own business, and just left. Sunday comes, and the man calls Anna to give her the keys to the apartment. He didn't explain why or say anything else, he just gave her the keys and left. Anna is very confused and also worried about the girls, mainly because she didn't see them when they left. I told her that maybe they left early in the morning like the man used to do. I asked if there was something wrong with the apartment, like missing stuff or damaged items, but Anna said everything was fine. Nothing was stolen or broken. Also, I asked if she heard noise, yelling, or anything that Saturday night. Nothing, she says. She is thinking about filing a complaint with the police because it feels wrong that they would just leave like that. If you ask me, I think that the reason they left the building was because the building owner asked about the girls. I don't know what to think about this. If Anna does end up going to the police, I will probably provide my testimony or something if that's helpful. Okay, I would like to say my first thing, I don't know if that's how the conversation actually went when they were talking to the guy, because landlords are scummy.
Yeah.
First thing first, building owner, landlord, whatever. So I feel like the reason that everything was okay in the beginning was because it was like just casual. And then I feel as if the building manager wasn't just like, hey, what are they getting into? I think that there was more of an aggressive, like, oh, we never see them come out, so what are they studying? Because they're obviously not here to, like, kind of thing. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what was said, but I feel like it was probably, because we're not getting the other side, probably worded in a way that was a little uncomfortable. And I'm sure this guy, if it's their dad, he's a little protective of them. They're early 20s. They're just in college. He obviously goes there a lot to make sure that they're okay. And then he probably felt like, you know what? This isn't a safe place for my girls anymore. Maybe.
And, like, it could be, like, a little bit of, like, if those are, like, his girls and everything, a little bit of, like, that, like, instant, like, shame or, like, a little bit of, like, embarrassment.
Yeah, that too.
And then so, like, lashing out and someone being like, oh, yeah, like, these girls are, like, stalking someone. And he's like, my girls wouldn't do that. Like,
yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Basically. And then he's like, this isn't a great place for my girls to live. Yeah. Kind of thing. That's kind of how I see it. And again,
I don't know.
Who knows? This guy felt like he was being stalked, which is valid. If somebody was watching me through a telescope, I feel like I'm digging myself a hole.
I'd be like, stalker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red flag stalker.
But if I did find out, me right now, if I found out that there were like two 20-year-old girls watching us work through a telescope, I'd be like,
yeah. Well, it's like when, like, I know this is going to sound weird, but, like, across the street at that building when there's, like, people, like, walking to their cars and stuff, there were those girls who, like, very obviously, like, just had, like, a cute little lunch or something, and they were, like, hugging. I was like, Addison, look how cute they are.
Yeah, we do that all the time. We're like, look at that girl's cute outfit. Look at that.
Cute.
Like, I mean, it's people watching. Taking a telescope to somebody is taking it
an extra
step further.
Further, I do see the problem with that. Buy a bigger telescope and establish dominance, is what this user said.
That's a perfect.
That would be really funny. It's like they're like really looking for you, and then it's you with like a big old like fucking
NASA telescope. There's like no hiding it. There's a lens coming outside of the building that's the size of the building.
Huge.
It's like one of those buildings that has a dome on top and it opens up and the telescope comes out. Yep.
Observatory. Is that what that is?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, valid for feeling like you're being stalked, but I don't know what else to say because
this person is like, rent a professional camera with a big old lens and point that directly at them and then take pictures and post them.
Yeah.
But yeah, then there's people being like, that sounds like human trafficking, which, you know, it could be that. It could be a plethora of things. It could just be just girly things.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
In my dorm room, oh my God. Okay, so in my dorm room, we had a man wall. And it was all these, like, photos and, like, magazine clippings of, like, guys and girls that we found attractive. Just, like the Gucci Guilty ad. Like, he was on there a few times because my roommate Emily, like, loved that model. And we were in a car crash, and the paramedics that came to save us, it was, like, straight out of like a romance novel. They were so handsome. And one of the girls like got her phone and like snapped a picture. Guess what ended up on the man wall? So I feel like college is a feral time.
Yeah. And again, double standard. Because it's
like that story that we read with that like reformed creep guy.
Yeah.
If this was a guy, we'd be like, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah, we'd be like, that's such a weird thing.
Dirty ass creep.
If we turned it around, see, okay, we're trying, guys.
Yeah.
It's hard. Okay, can I say a hot take? Are we in the trusting circle, you guys? Hot take. I may or may not cut this out.
Okay.
I think that men have had it so good being creeps and bad people for so long. Let the girls have it.
I'll buy that take, actually. Well, yeah, because I was like thinking about that. I was like, it's because like we are trained to, like, watch out for all of these different things that could happen because we go through those scenarios where we look back at it and we're like, that was actually really creepy. And guys go through it too, but I feel like statistically, maybe in different ways. And some guys not at all. And a lot of guys are the ones perpetuating it. So
I will say, again, hot take, when men fear women walking behind them on the street, then we'll stop. Is that a hot take? I mean, it's not even realistic. It's not even stopping. It's like that is when
you start doing like this shit with your keys.
Yeah, I think women should be able to be a little creepy until men feel what it's like. There's men do not understand the feeling of walking outside by yourself and having to look in every single direction and listen for every single noise because you're afraid that something's about to happen to you. Like, there's a whole trend on TikTok where people are like women's brain when they're walking around, and men's brain is just like da 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 da. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's why.
And like they worry that they're gonna get robbed. Yeah, like, that's the worst thing that's gonna happen. I'm gonna get robbed.
Yeah, so
it's different, and what they fear it from is another man.
Mm-hmm. Point proven. So if there's a double standard, who set that up?
And who set that system up?
Men.
Who set that up?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Oh like, my God.
This is so funny. Because like, there's a whole thing like earlier this weekend, I don't know, where I was like barking at Lee. And I was like, am I objectifying you too much? And I was like, I don't give a shit. You should be objectified. I was like, we should be even Stevens objectified.
If you can objectify me, I'm gonna do it right back.
He doesn't, though. I was like, you could.
No, but
I would let you.
Generations. It's your.
It's like, God damn it! Please objectify me. I don't know. It's story 3.
Trigger warning for talks of abuse and suicide in the next story.
Story 3. Coworker is threatening to go postal. Okay. Recently at my work, maybe a couple months ago, we hired Austin. He seemed sweet at first, but we quickly came to find out that he not only had a temper, but that temper is let out with violence. A customer upsets him, he goes to the back room and beats the hell out of the lockers or other inanimate objects until his knuckles are bleeding and the metal is bent. Oh my God. He was charged a few years ago with domestic abuse against his own father, who chose not to press charges. He had told me it was for smuggling cocaine, but a coworker looked it up, as in our state it is publicly accessible. I don't know about other places. We found nothing about cocaine, only about the brutal beating of his father. He frequently threatens to kill himself. That's not the sentence for me to mess up my R's. He weed buttons. Sorry. I should note here, nobody has ever given him a reason not to like us. We've always been kind and caring. Our coworkers are our family. It's a small, locally owned shop, and we all care for each other and extended our love and welcome to him. Nobody has done anything to cause what I'm about to say next. Now I've learned within the past 25 hours, he has told 3 coworkers of ours, if I call you up and I say not to come to work, don't show up. I'm going to give this place what it deserves. Oh my God. I'm stressed reading this. Okay. He has told other people that he's going to go postal, shoot up the store. The owner and Austin's direct manager laughed it off to our faces saying, yeah, right, like he'd ever do that. That's stupid. Nobody would do that. Don't waste the police's time. However, the other department managers, as well as the rest of us, are highly concerned. Of course, we have no proof other than his word. Recently, he had a seizure and hit his head hard enough to crack his skull. He has not been allowed back to work due to medical reasons, obviously. He was sort of seeing one of our coworkers, who has been trying for weeks to distance herself, as he goes from being sweet to throwing fists, cussing, yelling, and cursing at her with no instigation. It has gotten worse since his head injury. I really feel as though we could be in serious danger. Should I give the police an anonymous tip anyway? I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty unsettled. I've been shaking all day. I can't die here. I just got married a few months ago. I might be having a baby soon, I'm not sure yet. My husband, who I've been dating for 12 years, he would be devastated. I can't leave him like that. What should I do, guys? I'm scared. There is an update.
Right.
Thank you for all your support. I just got off the phone with the police. There's no way they can guarantee my anonymity since the officers want to speak with myself and my coworkers on site. I requested that the operator make note that I called and I would contact all of my coworkers to who Austin made the comments to. I will see if everyone can meet at my house so we can tell the police exactly what was said. I will give you all a further update at 6 p.m. when my time rolls around and the store is closed. I think it's good that you called the police. Yeah, I will never take one of those things like lightly. I'm like, of course they're just joking around.
No, there's literally so many signs. That is one thing for a lot of planned pew-pews. Mm-hmm. There's signs before, and they're telling people don't come to school this day or don't go here this day. And to say that they're actually going to do it, that's terrifying. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely terrifying to not want to go to work because you don't know if your coworker is going to go fucking crazy.
Right. Yeah, there's like very clearly like documented signs and evidence of him being very unstable.
Yeah.
So for the bosses not to take it seriously, that would be enough to get me to look for another job.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, I don't want to work there anymore because you don't take my safety seriously.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I will say when we first started reading the story, before we got into the abuse stuff, I was like, oh, it's like Andy from The Office.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You know what? Honestly, Andy should have had an HR on his ass a little bit more.
But yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of people should have had
the whole office.
The whole office needed Toby to step his fucking game up.
Yeah, Toby was just there hoping Pam chose him. It wasn't going to happen.
No, and you should have gone to HR for that too, bitch. What the?
Yeah,
anyway.
Honestly, yeah. So my first job out of college, the first day I got hired, I was told, hey, don't let this guy in. I didn't know what the guy looked like. They really didn't give any descriptive details. This is my first week because apparently, like a couple days before I got hired, he was in the control room and this guy was like kind of like badgering him as he was trying to fix something. And the guy badgering him just flicks his nipple, which is a weird thing to do, I will admit. But then as he's fixing it, he looks at him, takes his screwdriver, points it at the other guy's neck. He's like, don't fucking touch me again. So then it becomes a whole thing. This guy gets fired. People like, he's gonna like come up here and shoot us all up. Week 1.
Oh.
They're like, don't let him in. I was like, I don't know what he looks like. So I'm just not gonna let anyone in.
Yeah. I have a silly story and a not so silly story.
Yeah, okay.
Silly story first.
Silly story first.
When I worked at the theme park that I worked at, the people who worked there, who had my contract before me, got transferred to a different contract because one of the guys who didn't work for us but worked for the other company, he kept coming in. One of the guys that was like the manager was gay, and so he would come in and like flirt with him all the time. Mm-hmm. But then like run away back to his territory because he wasn't allowed to like be over there.
Yeah.
And one time he came over there and he ripped his shirt off and started waving it around in the restaurant area, and then climbed on top of the walk-in freezer. Oh my God. And was saying that the manager, the other guy, was going to R-word him. but like joking.
Okay.
And so the other guy was like, get down. And then the big manager from the whole park came over and was like, you guys need to leave.
Yeah.
No, and when I heard that story, I was like, that's fucking
That's
crazy.
wild.
Who does that? Second story.
Story number 2.
It was not a very long story. It's very brief. But I worked at this pizza place in Austin that was in a very centralized location that everybody would go to.
Yeah.
And I was on the slice side, and so it was open really, really late. And the inside wasn't open super late. The outside was, but the inside would still be open super late. But in the area I was in, there were a lot of like houseless people.
Okay.
And this very specific guy would come in and kick and bite people if they didn't buy him a slice of pizza. So every single time we saw him come in, we'd have to be like, get out. And he would leave. But yeah.
I mean, I guess that's one way to get people to buy you pizza.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Huh.
Very interesting. Yeah. Just straight up kicking and biting people.
Never had that thought cross my mind that I should just start kicking and biting people.
I had a person at the same theme park, try to jump through the ordering window and fight me. Yeah.
For what?
Because the park was closing and they were mad because they were kicking everybody out of the park. So they threw water on my face first and then started trying to climb through the window. So
This is evidence that more people need to go to therapy.
yes.
Because it's like, you shouldn't be that mad at this. So clearly you have something else going on that you really need to dive into.
Yeah.
For the love of God. Because
Yeah.
like,
I've had a lot of like actually crazy experiences. Like looking back on it now. Well, I'm glad that you're okay.
yeah, when was this?
That's very good that you're okay.
5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And
well,
they're deleted. So I
days are
think we're
deleted.
okay.
hopefully they're okay.
Fingers crossed you made it out, buddy. But yeah, I'm glad you went to the police because, like,
Yeah, I hope that person gets help truly and doesn't hurt anyone else because that's so scary. You know what's really scary? Brain injuries.
brain injuries are terrifying.
They're so scary because
Yeah.
you can have a seizure and have your skull crack and become a completely different person. Completely not have the same likes, dislikes, same thoughts or wants for your future.
Yeah.
And in a lot of
Changes
cases
everything.
too, it makes people worse, like worse people. They become really violent and angry. There's a scientific reason for that. I'm not smart enough to tell you.
Yeah. I will say, the car crash that I mentioned earlier, I definitely got a concussion from that. Like, definitely got concussed. But I was like, what's the doctor going to tell me that I have a concussion? So I didn't go to the doctor.
In this economy.
Yeah. But I definitely notice there's a rift.
Yeah.
Because I get tongue tied a lot easier. I still have brain frog from it. Brain frog. What did I tell you? This didn't happen before that concussion. I've had a lot of concussions, to be fair.
Yeah.
But that was a big one. But yeah, brain injuries are so scary. Or like an aneurysm is so scary to me. There's a kid,
My water.
I think in high school, he was on a soccer team that had just a brain aneurysm.
Yeah, there was a kid in my high school. I had a librarian who had a son who was on the football team. Mm-hmm. Yep, aneurysm. I can't fucking talk either.
This person's username is Ghostly Dicky.
Hot.
Their account is suspended. Surprise!
Story 4. This is a very long one, but it's awesome, so strap yourself in.
Buckle up, Buttercup. We're getting weird.
All right, so this was originally posted on True Off My Chest, but this is now on Best of Redditor updates. So just knowing this has been copy and pasted around a bit. So okay. I'm weirded out, but I'm also going to be vague because obvious reasons. I'm 30s female and my stylist is 40s female. I got my hair cut today at a stylist I've been using for about 9 months now. I think this is my 6th appointment with them. I usually do a trim or cut style. Today, I went from long hair, high lower back, to an A-line bob. Dang. Again, since I started seeing this person, I usually get current style maintenance / trim. This time was a dramatic length adjustment. They took a picture of the cut length on the floor to add to their social media, then intending to add before and after to the two. That's totally fine and normal. They go to grab a broom, sweep up the hair, and place the dustpan on the counter for a bit. Again, normal. They grab the broom and pan and head to the back of the shop. They're gone a few minutes, no biggie. Then they go out to smoke. But here's where it gets weird. The bathroom is in the back of the shop too. I need to go and step into the back. I don't really notice anything on the way into the bathroom. I go and start to head back out, but I notice my name on a small clear tote on the table. It has no lid, but it has my hair in it. At first, I didn't really think anything of it, but I look closer and see it's not just today's discarded hair, but it looks like at least a few of my trim sessions, mixed in with what looked like potpourri and a little sand or something, and printed pictures of the cut hair with dates. The printer is sitting right next to it with today's discarded hair pick in the tray. There didn't seem to be any other containers like this when I looked around. It was fucking weird. So I took a pic on my phone. I honestly didn't know what to think or do and went back out into the salon. They came back in and I mentioned that I went to the restroom and they seemed to freak out a little bit but didn't mention it. I didn't really know what to say, so I just let them finish styling my hair, paid, and left. As a socially anxious introvert, this was my nightmare. I got home and the more I looked at this picture, the more ick I got. I ended up texting them an hour ago, sending the picture and requesting they remove the weird box of me and asking for an explanation. I said, "Hey, so I saw this and I don't know what to make of it. Can you help me understand what this is and why you have it? I'm not comfortable with you having this and request you please discard the contents. Also, even though I love my cut, I believe it's best if I find a different stylist." They haven't responded. So, we have a lot of updates.
Okay.
So, here we go. Update 1. This is December 1st, 2024. It's been about a week, and with the holiday, I've been all over the place, and I ended up going to the law enforcement to make a report last Monday. I'll likely end up going back if this person keeps contacting me like they have been. I'll give a little timeline. Last Saturday, haircut and discovered the weird tub full of my hair, texted the stylist about the weird tub, and said I'd be finding a new stylist. Hairstylist didn't respond. This is where I left off on the last post. A lot has happened since then. Sunday, I woke up to a bunch of texts from the stylist. It woke me up because even though I have D&D on my phone, I have a setting that overrides that if it's a repeated contact attempt over 3 in case of emergencies. Here's what I got. This is copy and pasted. 3:49 a.m. I don't recommend going to a different stylist because of this. It's not a big deal. Small towns and people talk, and you may not find anyone that will take you after this, so I'd reconsider. I don't like threats. 3:51 a.m. So I have your biological material and it's mine now. I can do with it what I want. I kept it because I can, and it means a lot to me. 3:54 a.m. Why did you send the pic? I know what it looks like. It's mine.
Oh my God.
4 a.m. You need to respond to me because I think it's a misunderstanding about what this is, and it's not a big deal. And you're saying you're switching stylists, and it has me triggered. I do good work. You said so. 4:04 a.m. I also charge a $350 client separation fee. So yeah, you can't just say you're switching stylists without consequences. And I know you said you already tried a few people before me. There may not be many beauty people in the area. 4:11 a.m. Asking for an explanation for a stylist having your hair in a salon is crazy. Where else would you find hair? I didn't do anything wrong, but I will get rid of it if you're going to cry about it. But only if you say you won't be switching to anyone else for your hair care. You mean a lot as a client and always tip well, and I do good work, so it doesn't make sense, and you know that. So maybe don't threaten someone who does your hair or hurt their heart by making accusatory statements.
Oh my God.
I didn't respond to any of those that morning because it was so insane to me. I needed to process things fully before I make a decision on how to deal with it, so I just didn't respond. Sunday afternoon, I started getting phone calls. This person called me 14 times that afternoon. About every other call, they left a voicemail. Most of the voicemails just said, call me back or text me back, but 2 of them were unhinged. I'm going to paraphrase, but the gist of the first one was, it sounds like they're crying. Call me back, I'm getting scared you won't come back to me for your hair for real. I just like how your hair feels. That's why I kept it. Call me. The second unhinged message was left late Sunday night at 11:38 p.m. and it said, I got rid of it except for one lock. I found out that I like watching your hair burn more than I liked keeping it. I didn't respond to any of those messages, calls, or texts. The whole thing had me freaked out now. I decided by that time I was taking Monday off work to go to the police. Even if they couldn't do anything, I wanted to file a report for the weirdness. I woke up on Monday to an email from the stylist with an invoice for $375 for a client breach of contract fee and the chargeable line item, again, copy and pasting here. The email body was just for being a bitch.
Oh my God.
It was sent from their business email too, so they're really doing everything they can to ruin themselves. Even if I had a contract with this nutter, which I don't, the original amount was for $350. They can't even get their extortion fees right. I did email them back stating that we had no contract and to cease all further communication with me from this point going forward. I got ready and started heading to the police station around 9:45 Monday morning. I live in a rural area, so there are portions of my drive to and from our main town that doesn't have cell reception. When I finally got to town, I had 4 voicemails. I knew immediately who they were from. I talked to one of the officers on staff. They took my statement, a copy of the email, asked me to forward all the texts and screenshots of the numbers of calls. They said at least the calls and texts could be considered menacing and harassment, but the voicemail where they mentioned how they liked burning my hair was potentially concerning. The officer advised I contact a legal representative in case this person tries to take the bogus invoice to a civil suit court. And they said I'm welcome to change my number, but having the piling evidence if they continue to contact me after I explicitly told them not to in the email would only help me. I reached out to a lawyer Tuesday and left a detailed message regarding the situation. They're apparently out of office until next Wednesday for the holidays, so we'll see if they have any advice. I've since received many texts and calls from the stylist. They sent a happy Thanksgiving text on Thursday morning as well. Regardless, they are giving me a lot of evidentiary material to work with, but I'm so unsettled. I can't wait to hear from the lawyer this week. Okay, so here's a mini update from December 8th. I woke up to new comments and requests for updates. Firstly, I am okay and safe for now. The person has continued to contact me on a regular basis via phone and email. I do have personal protection that I'm comfortable with and can wield with accuracy, but I'm nearly certain this person does not know where I live, so I don't anticipate any type of confrontation here. Our house and property has complete camera coverage as well. If anyone or anything shows up, we're well aware. I will be posting a more in-depth update with more texts and emails up to this point and regarding a specific incident that happened on Tuesday. I have an appointment to speak with another officer, then to discuss the potential of criminal action and legal consequences from the stylist as a result. Thank you all for your concern, and this is absolutely insane. I'll leave you with a text from this past week, one I think you'll all enjoy or question or use for a model on how not to make friends. Once again, copied and pasted. 5:12 a.m., December 4th, 2024. Don't never say never. You're never coming back. Don't make me laugh. I don't want your ass back. You can beg me, though. It might help.
Oh my God. Oh my God. When you talked about, like, I just like the way your hair feels. It's like if Shauna Shipman was your stylist. Oh my God.
There is another update, too. Okay, do you want the next update?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the last update. I didn't expect the crazy amount of people following this. Here's the long-awaited post. I met with law enforcement again this past Tuesday. My husband and I drove over early that morning because I was also meeting up with the lawyer I'm working with. Aside from the near constant texts, calls, and emails, I wanted to pursue legal action for a specific issue. Allegedly, the style had tried to have my credit card canceled. Apparently, they used the last 4 digits of my card, called the customer service line for the card, and tried to cancel it. I got a call from the fraud department shortly after this person attempted to do this, trying to verify everything to see if I actually wanted to close my account and dissolve my credit line with them. To be clear, the stylist was not successful with their alleged attempt. They couldn't provide the basic information you need for such things like my actual last name. It's unusual, and they gave a name that was almost similar, date of birth, address, etc. Apparently, they thought they could accomplish this with just my name, phone number, and the last 4 digits of my card. I didn't cancel the card, but did request a new one for obvious reasons. I had no clue why they would want to cancel my card. To inconvenience me? Yep, that's exactly why. Allegedly. When I spoke with the credit card company, they agreed to send over the recording of the person that called as well as the phone number the call originated from, as long as the request came from a law enforcement with a warrant. They gave me a phone number and a reference number for the police to reach out directly. The officer began working on that immediately, so that's in progress. I went to my phone company over the weekend. I had my phone number transferred to an old phone so I could still receive calls and texts there, but got a new phone number for my actual phone. The old phone and phone number has been turned over to the officer assigned to my case. They did go and speak with the person yesterday. Apparently, they're horrified I went to the police and had no idea any of their crazy could be a chargeable offense. A temporary protection and no contact order has been issued against them until our first court date. I have also reached out to the State Board of Licensing with all this information and my complaints. All I can say is they are investigating. Outside of that information, I'm limited to any other information I can share since a legal process has officially begun. We're just waiting to see how this all plays out. It's been a long few weeks. I'm hoping for the best here. I'm already relieved to no longer be getting calls, texts, or emails constantly. Thank you for all the concern and advice and good wishes.
That's insane. Okay, I don't know. This is not an appropriate question. I'm so curious as to like what their hair is like, where someone is just like, I need to. I just imagine like, yeah, just like in there with the hair fibers, like
Sniffing it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It's like Charlie's Angels. Do you remember that scene?
It is, yeah.
Oh
Okay,
my god,
isn't
that
it weird?
freaked
No,
me.
we've talked about it.
Yeah.
It was like freaky, but
So
like
I took her to my penthouse and I freaked it.
I was like, he's just passionate. But
just
this
really
is
likes her hair.
and different.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely
That is-
certifiably insane behavior.
Yep.
I absolutely, every single time that I read it, every time that I hear it, the invoice for being a bitch is probably the funniest fucking thing. I
funny,
know
yeah.
this lady is so unhinged.
She is crashing out.
I'm gonna start doing that though.
Invoicing people for being bitches.
Yes, if
yeah.
anyone's ever mean to me, I'm gonna email them an invoice that says for being a bitch. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
No
financial
argument.
compensation for the emotional damages of you being a bitch.
Yeah, I like that she bumped the price up to $375 though. She was like, "You're making me write this email, so $375 now."
She
No longer
sat down,
$350.
took the time to write a whole invoice.
A whole she
Send
put
it.
that shit in a template
Attach it. Send it.
for being a bitch.
Yeah.
That's so fucking funny.
Well, and then like, I don't know, Allie, let me know. At a salon, do you like write invoices like that? I guess maybe for like your dues but you should be getting charged for that. So
yeah, I've never.
do you have an invoice on hand that you plug this into, or did you like look up a template for invoices?
Absolutely, it was a template because I worked at a salon that had a bunch of different suites. So it was like hairstylist, nail techs, massage, like all sorts of different types of care
Yeah.
stuff. And all of them, to pay for their suite, would write a check or put cash
Yeah,
in
that's
an
what
envelope.
I imagine it would be. Not
And even then it would be you wouldn't
be invoicing
giving
someone
an invoice. Yeah. No, that is so strange. I've never heard of a person signing a contract. The day that somebody asked me to sign a contract to do my hair.
No, the amount of contracts I have broken, apparently, if this is true.
Yeah, I have hairstylists that I've never spoken to again in my life. I've been like, "You're the best hairstylist ever." Have I talked to them? No. And now I cut my own hair.
Yeah, no, I
You can't
have.
tell.
I have terrible experiences with hairstylists.
Yeah,
so
they always
like,
make me cry, and I don't want to blame somebody for not seeing my vision in my head. You know? I try to explain it the best way I can, but there's only so much I can do. I can't,
yeah.
you know?
I will say I had one hairstylist that I was completely obsessed with, Nina. Best ever. Nina. A lot of the other people I went to, it's like, how did I walk out and my hair is worse? Like, it's worse than when I walked in here. What did you do to me? In 6th grade, this is where it all started. I had begged my mom for highlights for forever, and she finally let me do it. And I had, like, mid-back length curly hair, super long curly hair. And I wanted, like, a chocolate brown highlight. Something, you know, a little subtle, but it's still
change.
highlighted, you know. She gave me blonde highlights, and she chopped my hair to my shoulders.
Oh.
And then she paraded me around the salon and was like, isn't this so cute? And as a child, I could not speak up for myself at all. And I also didn't want my mom to know that I hate it because she just paid for it. So I'm just like trying not to cry, being paraded around. She's like, isn't this so cute? And I was like, you ruined me. I've deleted every photo of me that exists from that time period. It was so bad.
That's fair. I also had a similar experience when I was in the 4th grade. I had very long hair, and I think it was my stepmom. I honestly don't remember who took me. It's a very traumatic moment. So I'll probably block that out. But I had very long hair, cut it to here. And I have like wavy hair, so it looked really weird.
Yeah.
And I went to school the next day, and I sat down, and I'll never fucking forget this. And I'll tell you something, and I'll cut it out after this.
Yeah.
But this bitch sat down across from me and was like, excuse me, somebody else is supposed to sit there.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what? And they were like, there's a girl that sits here. And I was like,
She called you a boy.
it's me.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
And so that made me crash out. I've cut it short a couple times, and every single time I hate it.
Yeah.
But I cut my hair into a mullet like 3 years ago.
Short
And
mullet?
Super short mullet.
yeah.
Like super, I'll show you a picture. Super short. And I hated my hair for a year and a half.
Yeah.
I just recently started liking my hair again. So
Your hair's gotten really long. I cut my hair into a French bob during COVID. And it was really cute when it was styled, but when it wasn't, I looked absolutely insane, especially when I like would blow it out with a blow dryer. It was a perfect like triangle around my head. I looked absolutely insane.
That's really cute. I love that. Everybody was cutting their hair during COVID, though. I did the same thing. I cut my hair short during COVID, too.
Nina was the one that cut it for me. She's like, Nina, you sure? We've like worked so hard on getting. She's like, your hair is long and it's so healthy right now. And like, are you sure? And I was like, cut it off, Nina. In retrospect, Nina was right. Nina. But it's okay. I miss her.
Yeah, but
It doesn't make sense to drive 4 hours to see her. Anyway.
This hairstylist is absolutely fucking unhinged.
It's nuts.
That is so crazy. I cannot imagine crashing out over a client like that.
They're like weirdly obsessed with you. They have to be.
Oh,
Because like
100%. What are they doing with all that? Why is it mixed with potpourri, first of all? Like, what is that? Because it's only messing with the natural hair smell. So she can't go and like smell the natural hair now. It smells like potpourri.
Yeah.
And sand.
Does
Where'd
it
the
smell
sand
nicer when
come
she
from?
burns it? If it's been soaked in potpourri? I don't know, man.
Hair burning smells awful.
It smells really bad.
I had this friend when I was in the weird stage of my life who would sit and chain smoke cigarettes and burn all his leg hair off like at the same time.
Okay.
Your guess is as good as mine, man. Same reason that this lady's keeping a bag of hair.
There was a professor at the college that I went to that kept her hair. It was her hair from her haircuts, and she used it in her art projects.
Okay, well that's fair.
Yeah,
that's
different because it's her own hair.
I have a bag of my hair from when I cut it into a mullet.
Yeah.
Because my hair was about as long as it is now, and it was like the longest it's been in a very long time. Mm-hmm. And then I just cut it all off. So I kept a bag of my, like, this lock that came off. So I have a bag of it. It's black and orange
That
hair.
used to be more of a thing of like, oh, giving someone like a lock of your hair.
I want to go back to locks of hair and a locket.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want someone to love me enough to put Quentin.
Hey, buddy.
To put a little lock of hair into a little necklace and let me wear it around on my neck.
Nosferatu.
Yep. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Soulmate. I have tried to convince Quentin to give me like a little vial of his blood.
Yeah.
Because I would enjoy that. And they make, for all of you that thinks it's fucking weird, fuck you.
Fuck you. Next question.
Yeah, moving on. They have little jars that have like a coagulant in it. So you prick your finger and you put a couple drops of blood into the vial and it coagulates, so it makes like a little vial. It's not liquid, so it's not going to pour out.
Yeah.
But it has the blood in it.
You know what this moment reminds me of? Did you ever watch the Megan Fox Call Her Daddy?
Yes, where she talked about
She's like, why is it so weird that me and my, at the time, soulmate do blood stuff, but you just like let random guys come in your mouth?
Yeah.
Like, who's grosser?
Literally.
Who's grosser? And I was like, you know what, Meg? You have a point.
You have a fucking point. And that's the thing. Who's to say one bodily fluid is worse than
I need you to watch Sinners. If you've seen Sinners, you know exactly what I'm talking about with the body fluids. Because there's like a few people who are just like, oh, but then there's like the book talk girlies who are just like, oh. And I need you to watch it so you'll know exactly the scene I'm talking. You'll know.
Yeah, I'm like,
you'll know when you see it.
Talking about.
There's a few lines in that movie where I'm just like, Haley Steinfeld. Oh my god. I love Michael B. Jordan. Anyway, wow, that was so crazy.
No, that's a fucking unhinged story. I literally, the crash out is insane. I wouldn't even leave voice messages like that for anyone.
I don't think I ever have.
No.
Don't let me know if I have.
No,
Because if I have, I was not sober, so don't.
I have definitely like left the voicemails of like, I don't even want you anyway. You're disgusting and you're a piece of shit. And then the next voice says, please take me back. I know you don't want me to.
Have I? It's possible. Do I remember doing it? Absolutely not. So it doesn't count. And that's not my problem. It's not my problem what I did at
Past
that
you?
Yeah. That was a different person.
Taking accountability?
I don't know her.
No. Who's that? Who's that?
I have never seen that man a day in my life.
I'm gonna send you a fucking invoice for being accountable, bitch.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. There really is nothing like fearing for your life in a place of business, is there?
I certainly don't think I'll ever get my hair cut again, that's for sure.
Maybe we just shouldn't go to work anymore. Would that fix all of our problems?
I don't think so. But I know what would fix all of our problems. You liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all of that fun stuff. We have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, all at _the pod. And if you want to email us with your own personal stories and write in, you can email us at whatwasthat.thepod@gmail.com.
You are so right. That would solve every single problem that I have. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Speaking of going postal, did you hear about wait, what was that?